Hi guys, it's Paul in Perth here again. We're going to do a video today about removing the dashboard on a BL Mazda 3. There's two general reasons that you might want to replace your dashboard on a BL Mazda 3, and this car has both reasons. The first reason is that you've had a front end smash and the airbags have gone off and that's destroyed the dash. The second reason is these BL Mazda 3s have got a nasty habit of getting a bulge in the top just here above the infotainment unit, and it's a known fault. Mazda for quite a few years were replacing the dashboard as a result of that. I believe they've now stopped honouring that warranty because it's now they're 9 and 10 and 11 years old, so they don't honour it anymore. So you may have that bulge there, or you may have that there. The car we're in here has been in a front end smash. So the passenger airbag has gone off, the driver's airbag has gone off. You can see here that the passenger's seatbelt is tight as a drum. So even though that was in the retracted position when the accident happened, the pre-tensioner has still gone off and that's now tight as a drum. And the driver's one, if you get to it, the driver's one is actually stuck as well. So this has got all of the symptoms of a car that's been in a front end smash, and the airbag control module has pre-tensioned both seatbelts and exploded both front airbags. So let's get on with doing a dashboard strip. It takes a reasonable while, but it doesn't take a huge while. We'll see how long this video goes for, but well, let's find out, eh? So the first thing you need to do is you need to get rid of this center console. It's a bulky thing, it's in the way, and we need to get rid of it. So what we need for that is, if you look down in the bottom there, you'll see there's two 8mm sockets, and what I need is an 8mm. So here's my 8mm spanner, or socket wrench in this case. So get it on there, get that one loose, get the other one loose. Oh, money. Cool. All right, as happens when you take cars apart, sometimes you find money. There's 5 cents. Right, so there's that 8mm undone. There's that 8mm undone. So I should now find that the back end of the center console is now loose. So now I need to get the front end of the center console off. To do that, you've got the cup holder here next to the handbrake. So if you simply give it a good yank upwards, you'll find that you can get the cup holder out. So that's out. With the surround around the, this is a manual car that we're in here, so it's a manual gear stick. If you just lift that up and just unscrew in a clockwise fashion, just unscrew the gear knob. So that comes off, then get the that off, and what you're going to have underneath there is for your cigarette lighter. So grab yourself a little Phillips head, squeeze in the little tang, and then you got that off. Now you'll notice there's another two 8mm bolts here at the front of the center console. So again, just like we did with the 8mm that were at the back of the console, get that one off. Get that one off. And now the only thing that's holding that in now is these electrical connectors. So because of the camera angle you've got, you're probably not going to be able to see them, but they're pretty obvious. Yeah, you can get in there if you want, that's fine. They're pretty normal, what you expect. Electrical connectors, so that's them there. Now all that remains is for me to grab this firmly and yank it backwards. So if I just grab that and give it a bit of a wiggle, a bit of a lift, and boom, it comes back. Okay, so we're going to cut now and we're going to change the camera angle, but that's step one, is to get your center console out. Back after the cut. Hi there. Okay, so we've now removed the center console. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to strip down the steering wheel. You'll notice that all of the electrics are off. The reason for that is we're going to be getting into the ignition, and there's a lot of electrics in there. It's just best for everyone if there's no electricity to be dealt with. The first thing is to get this airbag module off. You'll need a 10mm. There's two access ports on the side here. So if we go on that one that you've got the camera on now, you may have a little plastic cover on those. Those little plastic covers, if you just stick your fingernail underneath them and pull them off, they'll come out. So that one's loose. There's another one on the other side. You don't need to see it on camera. It looks exactly the same. And to be honest, if you can't undo a 10mm bolt, then removing a dashboard is probably not the job for you. So, okay, so there's our two 10mm off. So there's our airbag. Now, an interesting thing to note when these airbags go off in these BL Mazda 3s is the back of this housing here gets extremely hot. Now, what you'll find is if I try and, I'll try and take off the clock spring attachment, and what I'm going to find in most cases is it is. It's actually melted on. And what that means is when the airbag goes off, it actually destroys the clock spring because it destroys this electrical connector. So even though I've got that fail-safe lock up, you'll find that it's actually busted. You can see that hasn't come off cleanly. It is actually broken, which means when you are repairing these vehicles after an airbag incident, it's not just a matter of replacing the airbag. You have to do airbag and the clock spring because the clock spring wiring will be melted. Okay, so if we're going to do this neatly, I'll just this is the horn attachment here. So if I get my clip tool and I undo the clip, there we go. So there's my busted airbag module. And now I'm looking at the steering wheel, and I've just realized I need a 21mm socket. So we'll take a break there. Okay, so I had to go off and get a 21mm impact socket, and I've also got an extender arm. So that's for this center nut here for the steering wheel. So just whack your 21 on, run it out. There's your 21mm bolt. And at that point, just gently pull your steering wheel. Oh, sorry, hang on. I need to get that little electrical connector as well. So this little white electrical connector in the middle needs to come out, and then you'll find you can pull the steering wheel off. So there's your steering wheel off. And now you're staring at your column. So the column has got a top cover and a bottom cover. The top cover basically is just held on with love. So if you press it up, you'll find that you can get that off. The bottom one is held on with 3 Phillips head screws. Now, one of them is a bit annoying. Now, I'll give you the tip. I've actually removed it before we shot it because it wasn't going to be beautiful video work. So there's one right at the back. If you look for a really tall, deep hole right at the back, it's in it. And there's one here, and the last one, which is the only one that I think this is the one I've left in, is just here. So, give me a break, mate. There it is. Okay, it is there. So, all right. So in my case, that's the third one I've removed because I removed the other 2 before we started shooting. So you've got 3 to remove. You'll do it with a medium-sized Phillips, and at that point, you'll find that the bottom will come off. You may find that the light gets stuck in the little light housing. You just need to give it a squeeze and it will come out. And then there you go. You've got your bottom cover off. In terms of getting the dash out, you probably would be better off to get these switches out of the way, because when this whole thing comes out, you'd hate to damage these. So look, just for shits and giggles, let's just remove the whole thing. I'm not actually sure that you will actually have to remove the whole thing in reality, but you know, I don't mind showing you either. So remove all of these connectors there. Now I forget whether it's a T25 or a T23, but I grabbed both, and if I can find them, okay. So it's either a T23 or a T25. It's a T25, okay. So So with your T25, you've got one facing right at you, so that's very obvious. There's one at the back there, so that's a little bit less obvious. And the one that's actually completely not obvious is on the top. So on the top there, you just get the idea of sort of spatially where it is. There's a T25 back there. So there's only the three of them. That's the third one there. And at that point, if I gently wiggle this backwards and get the rest of the electrical connectors off, then happy days. So let me just get some electrical connectors disconnected. Come on, baby. You can do it. Okay, so that's the transponder. So transponder's off. Actually, do you know what? For the purpose of this video, you'd actually just need to hang it down there, because you just need to get enough space that you can get the dashboard over the top of it. So I'm actually gonna leave that there. Right, the next thing while I'm in this part of the car is you need to get these air vents out. Now, this dash is wrecked, so I don't need to be particularly gentle with this particular dash. It's going to go in the bin, this one. But just to show you, for when you're doing the nice dash, how you do it, outside you can see these air vents have got this silver ring. So put your flathead screwdriver in between the silver ring and the dash, and just gently lever, okay? And you'll find that it comes out, all right? You need to be gentle, because these dashes, particularly actually these faulty ones, are made of a fairly soft rubber. And if you're not gentle with them, you'll tear the foam. So that's how you get them out. So seeing as I've done the right-hand one, I might as well do the left-hand one while I'm here. So again, put your flathead end in between the silver and the rubber bit, gently lever back, and you should hear it pop. And once it's popped, you can get it out, okay? So that's that. Also, while we're in this part of the car, let's pull out the central vent. So you need either a trim tool, which I don't appear to have one in the car. To do it really properly, do it with a trim tool. Now I'm going to do it a bit of a redneck way, and I'm going to have to be really careful I don't damage it. I'd prefer if you did it with a trim tool. But basically what I'm going to do is get my flathead screwdriver in under there and just get it to pop, okay? And the reason you have to be so careful is you don't want to scratch your stereo, okay? If you do it with a trim tool, it's just a lot safer than using a metal screwdriver. There is one electrical connector on the back of the air vent, so you'll need to disconnect it electrically, and it's got a clip here, and as I recall, you can pull the clip off. There you go. So that's your central vent off. Next thing is to get your stereo out. The stereo has got two Phillips head screws on the top here. So take out that Phillips head, take out that Phillips head, and basically pull the stereo back towards you. And as I recall, this has got about 4 connectors on the back. Now you need to flip it up. So to get to the connectors, the pieces you need to push, you can only get to them if you push the stereo up. So press that. Oh, hang on. This is always a bit annoying, but we'll have a go. Come on, baby. All right. There's 1. There's 2. Come on, baby. 3. Okay. So there's our stereo out, and while I'm on the driver's side of the car, let's pull out this piece of trim here. So for that piece of trim, you'll need to unpop that, and then I think, as I recall, oh, do you know? Yeah, then just unpop that. Okay. Also, while we're here, let's take out the instrument cluster. So I'm sweating like a dog here. I am Paul in Perth, and Perth, if you've never been here, is as hot as Hades. So this is for real, okay? But come to Perth, it's a great place. So we've got 2 Phillips heads, so we'll take out this bottom one here. There we go. Take out the other one here. Beautiful. You're out? Yep, you're out. Okay, and then just grab it and just firmly pull it back towards you, and there's an electrical connector, the back, actually basically the data connector at the back. So just give that a yank back towards you, and there's your data connector there. So just disconnect your data connector, and then there's your instrument cluster. Okay, so that's out. Now, other stuff to do while we're on this side of the vehicle, we can take off this little sort of mini dash here. So that's just a single Phillips head screwdriver, Phillips head screw there, and this pops out. So that's that little mini dash. Then there's a screw down in the air vent. So you're not going to be able to see it, but just trust me, you'll see it when the vent's out. There's one Phillips head screw right in the base there. There we go. So that's that Phillips head screw. There's another one in the door frame. So while I'm on this side of the vehicle, I'll just open the door. Oh, that breeze is beautiful. And I'm going to pull this bit of the dash away. And if you just see there, there's a single Phillips head there. Hey. Sorry, it is easier when you're not trying to juggle a camera as well. There we go, so that puppy's out. And also while we're on this side of the vehicle, let's get this infotainment unit out. So to get the infotainment unit out, first you've got 2 halves. You have to take out the right-hand half first. Don't try and take the left-hand half out first, or you will break things. This is the half, this must come out first, right? Now you'll notice on the base here, there's these little hooks. So if you put your screwdriver in them, like you can see that I'm yanking back on that hook, and then yanking back on that hook there, right? And that comes out cleanly. So that's why these hooks are there. Just stick your flathead in them and just pull backwards gently, and it'll come out in one piece. Now, this infotainment unit, the actual info display is held on with 3 Phillips heads. So 1, 2, 3. So that's the first one out. This is the second one out here. Rightio, and the third one's over here. And now I can gently pull the unit back towards me. And as I recall, there'll be a little data connector there somewhere. So there's the data connector, and there's the little pop for it. All right, so there's that there. Now, as you can probably see on the video, I'm sweating like a pig, so I'm going to take a break now just to have a glass of water and cool down a bit. I'll see you shortly after the break. Okay, so we're now on the passenger side of the vehicle, so we're going to strip off this side. And the first thing is to remove the glove box. So just open the glove box, and you'll find on the side here, there's 2 kind of support arms here, and then there's a locking mechanism there. What you need to do, it's been a while since I've done this, is you need to, I'm trying to remember. Okay, I'll get it out, then I'll remind myself how I've done it. Okay, so they're on hooks. So what you need to do is push them in, pull them up, and pull them back. And this thing here is a hook in the opposite direction. So it's just a matter of hooks. So if you jiggle it around, you'll find that you get it out. And then you've got the internal part of the glove box. you've got a screw here, and so middle, centre, bottom there, and there's one at the high on the right hand side. So if I take that screw out there, and there's a screw up there, and those two screws are the main ones that hold in the glove box. So just pull that cover down and then just grab it and just yank it backwards, and you'll find that the whole thing comes off. Okay, now that's there's a courtesy light there. You can either squeeze it and get it off. I'll be dainty about it, and I'll undo that little cover there, and that'll release it. There we go. Okay, so I'll just get rid of this just to get some room in the car. All right, so that's what we're looking at now. I know I'm going to have to remove this wire sooner or later, so I might as well do it now. So just push the tangs in, and then there you go. Just like on the other side, there's a Phillips head down in the air vent, so I'll remove that. So there's that Phillips head there. There's also this one here on the side, just like there was on the other side. So I'll remove that. Now, there are two 10mm bolts that are holding on. So this is the obviously the passenger airbag here, and the passenger airbag module is actually bolted to the subframe with two 10mm bolts. So you probably won't be able to get the camera angle to see it, but when you stick your head underneath the car, it'll be quite obvious to you. Oh, actually no, you can see it. If you go for a low angle, if you just follow me there, if you can just see me there, that's one of them there, and that's the other one there. You'll need to take those two off, and you'll need to disconnect the airbag module. That's going to be tricky, but I might get to that later. Okay, now there's some more Phillips screws. So there's one here. There's one here on the side of the temperature, the climate control stuff, and hopefully at that point it should start getting loose. Okay, so you can feel it is starting to get loose, so I'm starting to get in the right zone. So let's take off a few more things. So I'll just squeeze in. So just as there was on this side of climate control, there's another screw on the other side of the climate control, so we'll get that out. Okay, what else have we got? There's one there. There's one up here somewhere, as I remember. Yes, there's one there. Got that angle? Yeah, good work. Good camera work, mate. Right. So at that point, things are starting to get a bit loose, so that's good. We need to get this climate control out, and I'll be straight with you. This is the one part of the job that I get mixed results with, and it's to do with the connectors. So here's one that's already out. So there you go, they sit like that. And on the top, there's a yellow connector and a blue connector. And these are like when you select that there, what you're actually doing here is you can see that's moving that wire, okay? And the yellow is, if you like, a shroud in which the wire is moving. Now, the yellow one on right-hand drive cars, so ones like in Australia, for example, is relatively easy to get out because I can see the side of it here and I can unbolt it, unscrew it actually, sorry. So if I take out that air vent and unscrew those two screws there, sorry, I need to reposition myself. Let me just back right out. I'm falling out of the car. Okay. That's better. let me get this vent out properly. Oh, or not. Right, so right, so that's that top screw out. See if I can get to that bottom screw somehow. Oh, do you know what? I'll remove this properly. Where's? Oh, it's come out. Okay. There you go. So for me, it's easier to get that vent out. You make your own choice when you do your car. Remember, I'm wrecking this one, so I'm being probably a little less careful than you might be. All right, so get that out, and then all I need to do is push in the little tang, slip that over, and then there's my yellow control all loose. Okay, so at the last cut, we got the yellow cable of the climate control disconnected. I've now flipped around to the other side, and we're going to look at, this is actually a tricky job. And by the way, this is a job that's different on the Neo and Maxx compared to the Maxx Sport SP25 and MPS. If you've got a Maxx Sport SP25 or MPS, good luck to you, mate, because removing your climate control is piss easy. I think it's 2 screws or 2 bolts and the thing comes out. For the poor dudes with the Neos and the Maxx, they're having to deal with what I'm about to show you, and it is a pain in the ass. So let's go. So if you want to flip the camera around, we'll have a look. So I'm pulling the climate control out, and so immediately I'm struggling for movement, and what I can do is to get a bit more movement, I can move it from, oh no, that's not going to help. Hold on. All right, let's get to the crux of the problem straight away. Can you see that blue cable there? Now, let's come back to me for a second and I'll show you what we're actually dealing with. This is one that's already been removed. Now, what you've got is these 2 jaws that are holding in the plastic shroud, and you've got the runner there. So if I move that, you can see that the wire itself moves, but the shroud doesn't, okay? Now, you'll notice on this side that this set of jaws is a bit munted. And the reason it's munted is because I don't really know the right way to do this. And the way I do it is by pushing these jaws out with flathead screwdrivers and then pulling the cable out. If you know the right way to do this, maybe you work for a Mazda dealership or something, can you please comment below and tell me how to do this part of the job properly? Because I genuinely don't know. I'm probably going to munch this up, but this is where my knowledge is at the moment. So maybe you can help me. So just to put those words into action, what I'm going to do, so up in the top here, I'm going to be bending out the jaws around that blue connector, and I'm going to hopefully be able to pull the blue connector backwards. So as you can see, like I said, I don't know how to do this gracefully. Oh, there we go, got it. Shit hot. Okay, so having got that out, you can then disconnect it. At that point, your wire cables are disconnected. So then you've just got electrical connectors. So if you just disconnect your electrical connectors, so there's 3 of them. So I've got 1 off already. That's 2 off. And this one here is the last one here. Okay, 3 off. So, all right, that's the least munted I've ever done it. That's barely, it's actually not munted at all. I could sell that part. That's completely fine. So that's my climate control out. So now that we've got that climate control out, we're getting towards the end of being able to be ready to remove the dash. So if you swing the camera back around, you'll see I've got a Phillips head screw there. So right in the center, got a Phillips head screw there. And I've got a bunch of electrical connectors that I need to use a clip removal tool to remove. So there's a clip here, so we'll quickly get that clip out. There's a clip there, so we'll get that one out. That one one's out, okay. There's one in the front here, so we'll get that one out. Beautiful. That's one that comes out the other way, so we'll pop that one out. There's one there, so we'll get that one out. Beautiful. So all those wires should be pushed down now. Awesome. Okay. Now I can see one up. So there's one here. There's one there. Beautiful. One here. Got it. Okay, what else have we got? Okay, I can see I've got a clip I need to remove here. Cool. That's that little air vent, so that's fine. Now, we must be getting pretty close. I can see there's one Phillips head here. Sorry. That's all right. All right, now look at that. We're starting to get really loose. So, oh, that's what I haven't done. Okay, sorry, should have done this right at the start. These A-pillar covers have to come off. Should have done that right at the start, but can do it at the end. With these A-pillar covers, just slip a flathead in underneath them and lever them out, and you'll find that there is a retainer. So I'll get it out and then I'll show you the retainer afterwards. But basically, just grab a clip tool and stick it under the near side of the clip that I'm about to show you when I get it off, and pull it out. Now, just to show you what I did, that's the retainer there. So what I did was I put the clip tool underneath it and I popped it out. So that's my A-pillar cover removed. And this whole side of the dash is now out. So what's going to happen is, we'll do a cut now. I'll remove the A-pillar cover on the other side. There's one electrical connector under the dash and the whole dash is going to come out. I'll see you when I'm repositioned myself. Okay, so now we're on the left-hand side. We're going to remove the A-pillar on this side. So again, just slip your flathead in under the A-pillar cover, pull it back, and get your clip removal tool, slip it under that little retainer. So you can probably see it this time. So that's the retainer there. So just put your clip tool underneath it and give it a lever, and you'll find that it comes out. And there you go, that's your A-pillar cover removed. And the last, there's two things left to do. One is I haven't disconnected the electrical connector off of the airbag. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. It's actually really an easy job. If you can see underneath there, if you follow where my screwdriver is, can you see where my screwdriver head is there? See my screwdriver head? So see that little white thing there? You basically just need to push that white thing there. So when it's on, right, just push the white, that little thing there, and it'll come off. Okay? At that point, I think I have one connector left and the whole dash will come out. And the one connector is easiest to take off as you're removing the dash. So let me sit myself back up normally. And I think this whole thing is ready to come out with the exception of this one electrical connector. So, right, it is, that's interesting. Okay, that must mean that, because the last one of these I did was a Maxx Sport, and this is a Neo, this particular one. So on the Neo, that is actually all you need to do. On the Maxx Sport, if I just show you, this dome here, which I think is ambient temperature or something like that, and actually now that I'm putting my finger underneath it, I can feel that on the Neo, there's nothing behind that. That's just that's a blanking hole underneath it now. On the Maxx Sport, which means it'll also be on the SP25 and MPS, that is a live sensor. And when you remove the dash, you have to disconnect that live sensor. So with the Neo, that's actually it. So I can actually remove this dash now. And that is the end of this video. So thanks very much. If you've enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. I have to get to 1,000 subscribers before YouTube will monetize me. And I'm pretty keen to stop doing this stuff for absolute free. So please like and subscribe. Thanks very much.